I hate this truck. Hello, lady girl. Howdy doody. Welcome back to the ranch. My name is Mick. This old hunk of junk behind me is my 1999 Ford F550 7.3 Powerstroke dually with an electric dump bed on the back. If you are familiar with the channel, you know that I do not use this truck because I never really got it reliably running. I bought it as a reliably running truck and then it immediately failed me. Long story short, it's just been sitting around doing nothing because I haven't had the motivation or gusto to take some time to fix this thing. So today we're gonna change that. Let's get this thing back on the road so I can sell it because I'm tired of seeing this thing sitting around my yard doing nothing. Telling me it has a dead battery for a while now, and I've done nothing about it. It's always something, isn't it? Gonna have to look into that one later. Haven't quite figured out how I want to drag this thing yet. Okay, it's actually about a week after I brought this thing in the garage, so I got to get this thing out of here. So let's tear into it, get this thing running. Been a while since I had the hood on this thing popped open. Actually, a fat minute. Got to remember what I'm looking at here. Alright, so I'm trying to get my bearings here again. If you remember, it's these two, well, if you've been following along this long, it's these two injectors right here, these front two. So honestly, it's the easiest two injectors to get to, which is great, I guess. But in order to get to those, I gotta get my air filter off of here, get this downpipe off here, and work our way down to the valve cover and get that off. So nothing to it but to do it. Let's get these things disconnected. Okay, let's get these things off of here. I remember this being not so bad. It looks like I kind of left everything a little loose.
No big deal, let's just get a little loose. Let's get a little loose. A little loose, come on.
Just a little loose, get a little loose. Oh, I left everything loose, yeah, so that can come right off. Let's see here. Good looking out. Past me. There you have it, just like we left her. All right, so these are our two that aren't working, and the way that I got that information was basically the oil exhaust here was not pumping while all the others were, and for that reason I'm assuming that these two are dead. So that's really the only information that I have. I'm hoping that just replacing the injectors is gonna do it for me, but basically we need to work on getting these two out of here. It looks like what I gotta do is disconnect these connectors and get my gasket out of here. Along with my glow plugs. I don't necessarily have the right size here, but I just have standard. So we'll see if I can't get these off with the standard size. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I want to go a little easier on these, just out of fear of stripping them.
A huge steaming bowl of foreshadowing.
There we go. So these are your little exhaust ports for the oil. Comes in through here and dumps out just to recirculate without splashing everywhere. Okay, last step are these two little drain plugs for the high pressure oil rail. Just gonna sneak these out of here and then we'll be taking the Well, the fun never ends, does it? I went to go pull these drain plugs out. These two right here. 1, 2. Those are the drain plugs for the high pressure oil rail that runs through this block up here. And, well, they were stripped out previously. I don't know by who because I've never taken those out, but that's frustrating. So I don't really know what to do here. Usually you drain those and then pull the injector to keep oil from falling down into the cylinders. My only plan at this point is to pull the injectors and quickly get paper towels down there. Soak up the oil that's coming down. I should just be able to latch on these two bolts at the bottom. Get these loose.
A little loose, come on.
Okay. Alright, now I'm just going to get under this plate and see if I can't pry this out. I might need a bigger pry bar. Yeah, I'm struggling to find an in-betweener size, so we're just going to try this big one. Feed her in there. Pop out for me. Alright. I'm really hoping I don't get a bunch of oil spilling out here. Here's to hoping anyway. Forgive me for the bad shot. I just want to soak this up the best I can.
Here we go, folks. It's paper towels.
oil off to the left is trickling out. That was my concern, was all that oil dripping down into the cylinders, and then we'd have a hydrolock situation. That still may happen, but I'm hoping I got enough of it soaked up into the paper towels. Okay, so I want to act a little quick here. I'm just going to do one at a time, given the circumstance of that oil draining out. I don't know how much has to drain out, so I am just going to quickly, while talking to camera, swap these out. Here's my old one, and it looks like I had a little bit of gasket damage here, this top gasket. Other than that, I mean, the injector looks pretty good, but what I want to do here is unpackage the shipment that I got for the 2 new ones that came in months ago that I have not even checked to see if they're the correct ones, and I'm hoping they are at this point. I should have looked before, but I never did. Also, hopefully this is the right box. I think it is. Okay, these are from GB Remanufacturing. Remanufactured fuel injector. Oh, I gotta save that box actually, because I have to send back my core return. Hopefully there's not a timeline. I want to act a little quick here. Ooh. Ah. Yee. Gaskets are all on there. Why do I keep calling them gaskets? They're O-rings, you illiterate buffoon. That's a good looking product if you ask me. Washer's on there with a little bit of lubricant there to keep it seated. And they got this little rubber cap on here that I gotta remember to take off. Everything looks the same to me, so I'm gonna go ahead and not waste any time here. Drop this new one back in. Pull my paper towels out of here. Throw a couple more in just to soak up any residual oil down there. Okay, we're nice and clean. I don't have my old copper washer down there. Let's throw this thing in. Okay, let's get this one pried out. Really tearing up my fingers shoving these paper towels down there. Edges are definitely not soft, that is for sure. Okay, another one going in. What a cluster. Frustrating. Very frustrating. But if it were easy, everyone would do it. I'm just hoping that this works. Okay, confirmed copper washer is not in the bore. Load her up. Wow, that sucked. Hopefully it worked. Okay, so second injector. Getting a little analysis here. I gotta be honest, I don't see any Ford markings on here. I'm wondering if these are also aftermarket. I don't know if stock Ford injectors come stamped Ford, but I would assume they would. But these are virtually blank other than their, you know, part number here. This one doesn't have any gasket damage like the other one did, but regardless, it wasn't running. So I am going to pack these up to send them back in for the core charge. I'm gonna button everything up in there, and then we're gonna be turning the key. I gotta put batteries back in it. The thing hasn't been cranked over in a long time. So let's button things up and see if we can get this thing running again. Fingers crossed. Okay, so here's the plan. I got the old battery out of the Cat 933, which I charged up and I think held a charge. I'm not sure, I haven't really checked it. The trickle charger was registering life, so maybe we'll get lucky.
I always spank my dough. Who's your daddy?
The other side, I'm just gonna throw my jump pack on, and hopefully that gives us enough juice to crank this thing over. It should. Ugh, this thing never gets lighter. Yeah, it's like it was meant to fit in here. Sure. I have the valve cover gasket hooked back in. Everything's all plugged back in and set, but I still have the valve cover itself off, as well as my piping and all that, just to see if this thing is going to run, and if it does, if I'm getting life out of those two injectors that I put in. After we verify that there is, then we can button it back together, but I'm not necessarily sold on anything yet, so we're just going to test it this way first just to see. I guess I should probably check. How's my oil situation? Oh, yeah, okay. Still good. I just did a service on this thing before it was parked. Never really ran it, so this is all relatively new oil. Put a lot of work into this thing, so I'm hoping I can get it, you know, reliably running again. You guys are going to be looking down at the injectors if it does start, but that's getting too far ahead of myself. So let's turn the key and see what happens. All right, key on. Oh, we got music. I think I'm going to let the key cycle a couple times and I'll get back with you here. I just want to make sure that fuel's pumping and everything. I do hear my fuel pump running, that's good. All right, let's turn this thing over and see what happens. Nothing yet, but that's not necessarily surprising. Try again. All right, real quick, I just want to check this filter housing and just make sure for peace of mind that I'm getting fuel here. Seems like it. I'm gonna turn the key. Whoops. Definitely getting fuel. I should have ran up here sooner to check because now I got a mess. Let me get a pan under there. This is awfully stupid, but I don't really have a convenient way of getting this fuel out of here, so here comes an overflow. Whoopsies. At least I know my fuel pump's working good. I hate this truck. All it does is remind me of how much I was frustrated the last time I was working on it, and I'm not too keen on a project that all I want to do to camera is complain or have a sour attitude. So My batteries are dead. My jump pack is dead. I'm going to pack it in for the night. I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow.
One eternity later.
Okay, I've been sitting out here doing nothing, waiting for the batteries to charge because they were dying down there. I was going to pack it in for the night, but I figured, let me plug in the block heater, let the batteries charge a little bit, and I'm also going to pull out the big guns. I'm just going to give her a little shot and see what happens. And then if it doesn't work, I'll pack it in for the night and come back tomorrow. But fingers crossed. Let's see what happens. Just give her a little shot of ether here. Okay. Let's see. Hey. All right. Running. Ah, nice. See our oil? We did it. We did it, Joe. Oh, I'm so tired. She runs, and it's banging on all 8. So let me button this thing up, put the valve cover back on, and then we'll actually start it. See if we can't pull it out into the driveway. Not sure if I was recording or not. My GoPro just shut off randomly. If it wasn't, I apologize, but you didn't miss much. I just threw the valve cover back on. Okay, good enough. Start her up, see if she runs all buttoned up like this. Fingers crossed. Come on, baby. All right, here we go. A little rough, but it started. Now this thing hasn't ran in a really long time, so I'm gonna let it sit here for a minute. Once it warms up and we figure out if there's any other issues that are hiding themselves right now, we'll try pulling it out of the garage, see if we can take it for a spin. It is worth noting that I am charging and we do have oil pressure, so good to go on that front. Okay, we seem to be running pretty good. Jump in the cab, see if this thing will drive. Last time I drove this, it was so choppy, would not pull at all. But with those 2 injectors live and running, I think we're gonna be good. All right, shifting into gear. Got throttle response. It is dark back here and my windshield is dirty. I can't see nothing. So far so good though. Idle's down as soon as I let go of the throttle. think my tires are kind of flat too, but she's running. Here's my next fiasco back here. You can see Barney the excavator. What you can't see is you might be able to see it, big old pile of tires. So, unfortunately for me, that's right where I want to put my shop in the future. So, undercut, here we go. I have no idea how far the underground burial goes, but I think it's pretty extensive, so we'll see. All right, let's pull this thing around. I think we're gonna chalk this one up as a success and park this one back in its spot because I could use the shop space. Shut her off. Sweet. All right, I know it's kind of a lame test drive, but that's all I really can do. I don't have that thing registered or insured or plated, obviously, at this point. So, short test run, but honestly, that's all we can really do. So, chalk that one up as a win. Well, there you have it. I am so happy. That is a true weight off my shoulders at this point. Those of you that have been following the channel for a while know that that thing really has been a thorn in my side. It's been the only videos where there's really been a damper, per se, on my attitude because that thing's just been frustrating. I'm also going to apologize for what I am going to say, my sour attitude during this video. I've had a rough week, and a little more on that later. But I appreciate all of you that have been following along on this video, and I hope you enjoyed it, even though I haven't been in the best mood here. But if you enjoyed the video, please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it, all that fun stuff. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, the Tiki Takis. And with that, I'm actually going to bring the truck portion to a close. But if you want to stick around, I'm going to share a little bit of personal information here shortly. But that's all on the truck. So, like I said, on a very serious note, I wanted to take a minute to face the camera and talk to those of you that care. Just to fill in a little bit of my personal life, but it does directly tie to the channel, so I figured I would have to say something. I'm going to be reading some words that I wrote, so I'll be looking down here a little bit. I'm going to try and get through this with the least amount of cuts as possible. This is a very real conversation here, and I apologize ahead of time because this is just going to be hard for me. So if you're a fan of the channel, you'll know that my dog, Lady, she's typically wandering around in the background in most of the episodes. Just a quick note, the shirt that I'm wearing, you probably don't recognize. The shirt that I'm wearing is actually the shirt that I was wearing when we first picked her up. Some of you may have noticed that Lady only showed up briefly at the beginning of the video. And that's because after I pulled the truck in that night, Lady unexpectedly passed away. I'm not one for getting emotional, especially in public. However, I know that coming out and saying this is important to the channel because there will be questions and concerns about her, I'm sure. So I'd rather not go into any details or answer any questions at this time, but I did want to take a minute to share how truly heartbroken I am. And also to apologize to those of you that enjoyed seeing her in the videos just as much as I did. Many of you noted how good of a dog she was, always wanting to be by my side, eager to go anywhere I would go, obedient. She was extremely smart, almost to a fault. She loved to run, whether it was around the property or joining me on one of my early morning runs around town. Always on the lookout to protect me, as well as her cat siblings. But of course, when it was time to wind down and accompany me in comfort, she would always be curled up right next to me, or if it was how she would prefer it, right on top of me. I'm a pretty introverted person, believe it or not, and I prefer to spend most of my time alone, whether it's just downtime or working on projects. However, having Lady here by my side always made me feel like I had somebody to lean on. She really was a true companion. So as always, I appreciate all of you for supporting me on this journey, and I hope you'll forgive me if I take a week or two off to take some time to myself. With all that said, I'd like to keep this as short as possible. Obviously, this is difficult. So I just wanted to say, here's to all the good dogs out there. Their lives are short as it is. Lady was just 4 years old, and she absolutely deserved to see many more.
Well, a good dog on the ground's worth 3 in the saddle, no matter where you're from. Been many good dog was a friend to a man, but Sam was the greatest one. He was the hound of hounds, he was the wonder of all walkers. He loved howling at the moon, he loved treeing that raccoon. Most of all, he was my best friend, and he's gone too soon.
Lady, down. Good girl. Oh my God. She's a smart puppy. Heel. Through. Sit. Wait. Okay, good girl.
He was a rhino of the litter, but a plenty mean pup. Put Sam on the scent, and he never let up. Spent his nights on the porch, chewing on a bare bone. Now he's underground, and I'm all alone. Well, a good dog on the ground's worth 3 in the saddle, no matter where you're from. Been many good dog was a friend to a man, but Sam was the greatest one. He was a hound of hounds. He was wonder of all walkers. He loved howling at the moon. He loved treeing that raccoon. Most of all, he was my best friend, and he's gone too soon.